Alright, so you're on Steam looking for a game to play and you see the finals. It came out a couple weeks ago and you want to play it. It's kind of a really cool movement shooter that has its own little twist on the game show aspect of everything, and honestly, it is super fun. But you're kind of lost. Do you play heavy? Do you play light? Do you play medium? Well, today I'm going to help you figure out how you can play the medium and how the medium is the best class in my opinion. If you've ever played Overwatch or Overwatch 2, you'll know who Mercy is. Mercy has a healing beam that ends up just healing your teammates for an infinite amount of time, and the finals has something super similar except for it does have a cooldown. In my opinion, the cooldown doesn't actually have to come into play that often. If you balance healing and pulling out your gun and defibbing and all these other things that we'll be talking about in the video, then you will be able to use the healing beam to its full potential without having to worry about the cooldown. But in my opinion, the heal beam is completely essential to have at least one for a competitive team comp. The reason why the heal beam is so essential is because the finals is all about elims. You have teams of 3 that are fighting each other, and when you pick one off, it's 3v2 and it's way unbalanced at that point. So you're always fighting for one of those picks. And if you have something like a heal beam on the team, it makes that so much harder. You also, with the medium, have something called a defib, which I'll go into more later, but that comboed with the heal beam is absolutely insane for support, whether or not you're running a triple medium or a heavy double medium or even a double heavy medium. Now on to recon senses. Recon senses are just wall hacks. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. You can literally see every single team across the entire map. It looks like little colorful player models going through the walls, and different visibilities of the map make this harder and easier to see, but for the most part, it's just completely wall hacks. But if you don't have one healing beam, I would never run Recon. Recon is only good, in my opinion, if you already have a healing medium on your team. But if you have a healing medium on your team, Recon brings so much value as well because you can just push knowing what teams are going to push you back, knowing if you're being third party, knowing if you can third party, knowing if somebody's on your cash out if you're playing far away. It's just, there's so many infinite possibilities with Recon senses. It's almost broken. Now for the third and final ability, the turret. Now, I personally don't ever run the turret. I think it doesn't have as much value as the heal beam or recon senses, but some people do like to run it. It is very good for defense, but you already have so many mines that I just don't see the point of it. And if you have a heavy holding up your shield, you can just stand behind the heavy shield and act like a turret, to be honest. So my personal opinion, I would not use the turret unless you absolutely can't get damage out as a team. As far as lethals go, it's pretty straightforward. There's 2 types of mines that I would recommend using, the explosive or the gas. I wouldn't really use glitch or pyro just because, I don't know, they're not meta. If you do want to use something like a nade instead of a mine, that is totally cool too. You can run pyro nades or gas nades. The pyro nades actually counter gas. They have something called rock, paper, scissors in this game. So basically gas gets put out by fire, fire gets put out by smoke. So if you are running into a lot of gas mine heavy teams or gas grenade heavy teams, maybe consider bringing the pyro nade. But for now, I personally like to bring the gas mine into the loadout, and also maybe occasionally a gas nade. With the lethals, it's pretty straightforward. Like if you have mines, you're gonna put them on the cash out after you've put the cash out in, or if you're just running around, you're gonna put them on random doors or different areas that you think people are gonna walk over them, and it's gonna do some damage. But for the most part, it's really straightforward. I mean, it's a landmine. Grenades, same thing. You can use it to stall out cash out. So if your team's about to die, or even if you just don't want to play directly on the cash out, you can throw a gas grenade and it does get a lot of value. Me personally, I love the gas grenade. I love the gas mines. I would run them as much as you guys can. Movement is super crucial in the finals. I would always rock a jump pad or a zip line because if you're not, you're kind of just throwing. You're going to get caught in areas that you're not going to be too favorable in. And there are movement mechanics in the map built in, like elevators and zip lines, but they're not going to be able to be in every situation, and you need that movement in 80% of the fights that you take. I personally prefer the jump pad. I don't think there really is a meta when it comes to jump pad versus zip line. I know that the zip line can get some crazy spots and honestly is really good for moving cash outs because it does follow it. But the bounce pad is super easy to use, super easy to traverse the map with, and I think that it's just very convenient. So I'll leave it up to you guys, but me personally, I like to run the jump pad. Now for the bread and butter, the defib. If you don't have defib in your kit, you are completely throwing. The Defib is an instant revive. It only revives your teammate up to half health, but again, like I said, instant revive. That means you can run in mid-fight, jump on your teammate, revive, and have a full reset on your team. Combo that with your heal beam, and that teammate is full HP in 5 seconds, and you just got a whole reset on that team. If you do not run Defib, you are doing something wrong. Medium is only there for Defib and heals. I think the Defib heal meta is crazy right now. If you're not running it, you're insane. You need at least one medium Defib heals. Now for the guns. The medium class has the best guns in my opinion. I mean, you could make an argument saying the light class does, which a lot of people do think that, but I think the AK and the FCAR are just absolutely insane. Personally, I like to run the AK the most. As you can see, I have a couple of clips back here. You can get a beam with it really easily if you just recoil train. You go into the lobby and train with it, but it's just not that hard to control, and it puts out so much damage. The only other guns that I would recommend running are really the FCAR and maybe the shotgun, but realistically, the shotgun is just not going to be able to keep up with things like the FCAR and the AK. Right now, the meta is definitely the AK FCAR. But you also have things like the revolver, which does melt. You have the shotgun. You have the grenade launcher, which I would absolutely never run. So just play with the AK, just play with the FCAR. Try to figure out which one you really do like. I think it's kind of preference. What most people are saying is that if you have a beam and you're really good at aiming, run the FCAR because it does do more damage, but it does have significantly less ammo, which I personally think that's just a downside. In a game where things like heavies and mediums are all bunched up together and there's just so much health in one little area, you have to have ammo to throw at it. I like the AK. I like the mag on the AK. I think the damage is comparable to the FCAR. I don't think the FCAR has that much more damage. I believe it's 1 more damage per bullet. So I think that the FCAR is a little bit inferior to the AK, but it is all personal opinion. I recommend just going into a bunch of Bankit game modes, seeing which one you can get more kills with, which one feels a lot more comfortable in all kinds of different situations. It's super situational and super preference based. So that's what my recommendation is as far as the weapon. The medium is a little bit squishier than the heavy, but not nearly as squishy as the light. So that does mean that you're going to have to be able to play sight lines and cover really, really well. But at the same time, you're not going to get punished too heavily unless they have absolute beams on you if you're out in the open for a small period of time. For the most part, positioning is super easy for the medium. You just need to stay with your heavy. Don't go off too far. Don't go off by yourself too often unless you're trying to secure a kill that you know is not going to be too risky. But really, the bread and butter of a medium is staying with his team and being a good support. Support in this game is really, really fun. It's not like a support character in Overwatch, which in my opinion can be very bland and boring. You do have really powerful weapons. You do have healing and support that's fun to use. The defib is super risky sometimes to run in and get a quick defib, but it's so satisfying when you do. It's so useful. So I would recommend stay close to your team, stay close to your heavy, play good sight lines, make sure that you're not overexposing yourself, and try honestly just to be a good team player. That's what you're there for. It's a team game. If you're trying to grind comp, you're going to need to learn how to be a good team player. Overall, the finals is a new game. So if this doesn't really fit your playstyle, all the things that I just said here, find your own meta. It's really a new game. There's no set meta. There's no set way to play it. And there's definitely no set rules. I would say if there was one thing that I told you that you absolutely need to abide by on this list, it's use Defib. Defib is nuts. But thank you guys for watching. I try to keep it nice and short for you guys, give you all the tips I could real fast. That way you can get into the finals and get playing, get on that top 500 leaderboard. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below. And until next time, I'll see you all later.